Good evening and welcome to the Midnight Sages podcast. This is Ruben. I'm here with Wade
What's up, guys? This is Wade.
and Nick,
Hey, what's going on, Snick?
and today we're going to be asking the age-old question, can people change? What do you think, gentlemen? Can a tiger change its stripes?
I think absolutely, people can change. Look at us; we're a perfect example. We're not the same person that we were in our 20s.
That is true. What do you think, Wade?
Yeah, like you said, I think it does come with age. Maybe the different, I guess oh shit, like the area that you're in, where you live, and also the type of work that you do.
Yeah, I think our work has a lot to do with our personality changes. As we walk in the door, different people. We walk out, different people, and that's so we don't bring it home with us. Is we don't want to be treating our family members the way we treat people we work with or around.
Yeah. With that question, can people change? I would say it would be a perspective point of view, like where you're at in your situation in life, and I think different events would also change your way of thinking.
Like kind of like a traumatic event, or what kind of event are you talking about?
I'll say just a traumatic event is a good one for one, but it doesn't necessarily have to be traumatic. It could be like just growing up, experiencing, and you're single and then you become a father, and so you have to change to be you're no longer a kid. You have to be a dad as well. So I believe in that perspective, people do have to change, and people do change naturally in that sense. It's almost like a sense where it's a situation where people have to change.
I agree with that, like what he was just saying, like being a dad, because I know I had to change when I became a dad at a young age. Like you had to take on that responsibility, and like you kind of had to put your dreams and your goals aside for a little bit until you figure out what you're going to do or how you're going to support your family, especially starting at a young or starting a family at a young age. Any of you agree?
Yeah, I agree with that. But do you think that changed your attitude towards things? Being a father, do you think your attitude changed, or did it remain the same? It just kind of watered it down?
I would say personally, your attitude would change, or it changed for me. Like you're no longer a kid, so you have to start taking on the responsibility role of how you would want to act and how you want your kids to see you act.
So you changed so you can form your child into a good person?
That's the part that you would want them to see, but I'm just talking about when you were a kid, your mom took care of you, and then when you're growing up, you try to take care of yourself, and then when you become a father, it's kind of like, okay, you have to take care of yourself and you take care of your kids and your family.
Yeah, there's a lot of sacrifices that I know personally that I had to do after becoming a father. Like when I say young age, like I guess you can say I was 20 when I became a father. Now where I'm at, like I have a 16-year-old, for example. Like dealing with that, it did make a huge change in my life.
What do you think, Ruben?
Well, I mean, out of the group of us, I'm the only one without kids. I'm the only one that hasn't been married.
But just about that question, can people change? What is your perspective on that?
My perspective on that is there's two things that have to happen to change. One, you must want to change. And two, you're going to go through some kind of event in your life that's going to force that change. You know, whether it's a hardship, whether it's some kind of traumatic event, that's going to change your personality.
Or life altering, like
Life
kids,
altering, yeah, like kids, like you two.
or losing your job.
Yes, because then you're trying to adapt to what life is thrown at you. So you have to change to adapt.
So would that be change in the environment or change as in personality? What would you say?
I think that change in environment would lead you to change your personality.
I was thinking that right now. I
Because
agree.
if you're thrown into a foreign country not knowing their ways of doing things, you're going to have to adapt. You're going to have to change your personality to adapt to what's going on around you. Kind of like I said earlier with work, we weren't brought up to do what we do, but we adapted. We changed who we are. You know,
I like that word, adapt, when you use that, because we're not keeping on saying like or change. No, we're adapting to the situation that we're in.
So change is not a bad thing because we're adapting to the environment that we are currently in or going through, when it's forced or when it's promoting or when it's just living life.
that is true. Because times get hard, we need to change with the current times. Because when we're younger, we didn't have social media, we didn't have any of this. We went outside and played. You know, now we're trying to adapt to, you two are to raise your kids in this environment. So you're trying to change the way you're brought up so you can be more watchful over them, more protective.
It's funny because it almost seems like the older generation would have a different perspective on that, because they would say there's nothing new underneath the sun, or a tiger never changes its stripes. But it seems like it's not the case when you're dealing with day-to-day life.
With modern technology, yeah, you have to change. Things have to change.
So I have a question for both of you guys. At what age does personality change the most? What are you guys' thoughts?
With me, I think when I hit my 30s, my personality changed.
Same.
You know, I did a little maturing through my 20s. I guess that'd be the PC way of saying things. You know, I wasn't that wild and free, but I was a little more wild than I am now. You know, you guys know I'm more of a mellow type guy, soft spoken. But when I speak up, when I'm have to be loud, I'm loud, and that's comes from my 20s when I was loud.
So we're doing the little research here. Like, we are in that age range where our personalities change, because according to the National Library of Medicine, most mean level personality trait change occurs between the age of 20 and 40.
So that means I still have luck about maturing in my life then, huh?
That's according to this
Almost
website.
there. We're almost there.
I mean, I'm almost set in my ways.
I would say at this point in age that we are pretty much set in our ways, and that's a whole different discussion right there.
That is true. That is true.
Because I like the way, as for me, like how my life is going. You know, like it's me, kids, work, kids.
Hey, that's just being a dad, man.
That's providing for your family.
And I wouldn't want it any different. I don't want no change to that.
All right. You guys have anything else to add?
Well, I have one more question. Maybe you guys can answer.
Let's
Let
hear it.
me ask you, Rube. Is it normal to switch personalities?
That one's tough because I want to say yes, it is normal. But for us, like I said, in our career, we have to change our personalities because we can't go in the way we are at home because we may be a little more laxed on our judgment with our family members. But for what we do for a living, we have to stay strong. We have to stay hard. So when we walk through those doors, we change our personalities. But I think that we're just a different breed of person to be able to do that.
Yeah, because once that Sallyport door closes, I know for me personally, like I'm a different person. And then on your way out, I have to drop everything and do the and dry on my way home. I have that downtime of leaving work at work.
And that's what I was going to touch on right there is we do have to unwind, go and hit into the gym after work or the long drive home just to clear your head and get back into that mindset of I'm not at work anymore. I don't have to watch my 6.
Yeah, it's a huge transition from work.
I
to
mean,
home.
we've all been doing this long enough to where it's not as hard as it was as in the beginning.
That's correct.
I think that's where we all started this career in our 20s, and now when we're 30s, our personalities, the way we look at things, it's all changed.
Well, we have a better hold on it. Better.
Yeah, we do.
So I guess you can say like people do change throughout their life.
Yes, they do. I do believe people can change. But like I said earlier, it's going to take something. It's going to take an event in your life. It's going to take you wanting to change. And that concludes this episode of the Midnight Sages podcast. I hope you enjoyed that midnight ride. This is Ruben.
This is Wade.
This is Nick.
And until next time, be safe out there.